How much money does your church make a year? This is important. How much money does your church make a year?
I don't have that number at the top of my mind. I wasn't coming to talk about the budget.
Okay. That's very important. The reason why I bring it up is because we're talking about what the black community, what the black church does for the community, right? And if you are taking money from the black participants who go to your church, you should know how much money you're taking from the community, especially since the community isn't financially stable.
Yeah.
But also churches that make over $100,000 per year should do exactly what the black church used to do during the civil rights era.
I think that's a harsh criticism. I think it's a huge assumption.
Wait, hold on. Let him finish.
So churches that do make over $150,000 a year, they need to invest that money in the black institutions.
With all due respect,
Wait,
$150,000.
I do want to hear from his response. How would you respond?
You can start a bank with that.
How would you respond?
I think we have to be careful about drawing assumptions of what churches do. I was making a very broad commentary about how I see churches behave, but don't get me wrong, there are a lot of churches that are doing exactly what you just said they should be doing.
Turkeys and shoes aren't enough for our community.
Well, see, I can't get into that part of it because turkeys and shoes are not the conversation I'm having. I'm having a conversation about a methodology to reach a people and be a service to a community. I'm talking about down payment assistance so that black folks can own homes. I'm talking about doing financial stewardship education courses. I'm talking about, counseling and support systems for family and standing in the gap for mothers with the single mothers with children and making sure that they have mentors for their sons and their daughters. I'm talking about programs that actually affect folks' lives. But meanwhile, you're on a different page, and I get that. But I wouldn't brush that very broad because there are a lot of ministries that are doing it. What I'm looking at is the impact of the way this division amongst the body of Christ actually shows up in the world. I think it shows up a little bit less impotent than it should. And on behalf of the body of Christ, I apologize that you've seen that more than you've seen the effective work.
Is that fair?
No, it's not fair. And once again, when you dive into this with Christians, I often feel that there's this neglect for politics. Jesus was a fighter. Jesus was a fighter. He was not
anti-capitalist.
He was not pacifist. He was anti-capitalist, right? So while what you're saying is very good, and I respect the fact that you are a leader, right, and that you do own your own black church, right? But there needs to be more. I don't want you just meeting with mothers, right? If my grandma is funding her own displacement every single time she donates to the church and they put their money at Chase Bank.
Yeah.
You understand that, right?
I guess, what specifically would you like?
What's the more that you're looking for within the churches for the black community?
I need the church to put their race. I need all black Christians to put their race either on the same level or above Christianity politically, not socially. Politically, right? We need to, as a pastor, you need to preach that the church needs institutions. Otherwise, every single time that our grandmas go and pay tithes, they are funding their own displacement.
How is that better than white supremacy, though, if you're asking us to be supremacists about being black people?
Who said anything?
Well, you brought up white supremacy.
Do you know what supremacy entails?
Yes, I know what you're about to say. I know what you're about to say. However, you have brought up white supremacy several times, but now you're saying put your blackness above everything. Black is the only way to think about, and that is a supremacy in and of itself.
No, it's not.
Which I can respect your opinion on that, but I don't operate just because of my blackness. There's so much more to me as a human, a woman, and other things. An American, like there are things that are intersectional about me as a person in this world. That's not just everything has to be about my race, and I have a problem with that. Just that thought in general, that everything must be seen through the eyes of being black. And if you don't, you get your black card.
Well, I think what he's trying to say.
Let me answer it.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I never told you to use your blackness to make anybody else feel inferior by the way of their race. So no, I'm not spreading black supremacy. And I find it often that racist white people and black people in the church love to call me racist, bro.